Hey everybody, welcome back for another memory keeping video. So this is for the week of June 29th through July 5th, and July 1st was our third adopt-iversary of our second cat, Clover. So had to bring back the cat mom art. This is a printable version of this art from Pink Planner Shop, and I have used it several times over the last several years. I think the first time I used it was when we adopted Clover. And I love having the printable now because I can use it as many times as I like. So I think previous versions of this kit that I've used from other shops had a lot of purple in them. So I decided this week to minimize the amount of purple I was using. I color blocked, so I used it on Thursday. But I really leaned into like the black and the pink, especially with this version of the kit because I hadn't done that before. And I just love this little paw print pattern with the black and the pink. So this turned out super cute. I love, love, love this art by Nella from Clip Art Kits. I mean, the kitten with the teddy bear on Wednesday, absolutely my favorite full box. And then the one on Friday of the cat kind of laying over. That reminds me of my other cat. And none of the cats in this art look like my cats because I guess they're technically called tabbycos. They're calico cats, but then they have tabby stripes where they should have black spots. Evie has like some black spots in addition to like the tabby pattern, but Clover is pretty tabby in her patchy spots. But yeah, I still love how cute the cats are in this kit regardless. So yeah, Clover's been with us for 3 years now. She's my little bestie pal. She's my little best friend, my little cat best friend. Both of our cats get along well with both of us, but I think over the years it has definitely turned into Evie is like my husband's cat and Clover is my cat. Again, both of them get along with both of us just fine. But like, for example, last night my husband went out for a concert and was home pretty late. And Clover has a little like bed next to my side of the bed. She sleeps on the floor on a bed because she is disabled. Her back legs, she can't jump up very high. So she sleeps on the floor. And she likes having her little corner next to my side of the bed. And like she goes to bed like later than all the rest of us because she's still young and has a lot more energy. Like she can nap for like an hour and wake up and be perfectly fine. So she goes to sleep probably the latest out of all of us. So I was staying up later than usual because my husband was out. But around like 11:45, she finally like comes to her little cushion and curls up and starts getting ready to sleep. Whereas Evie, who, like I said, is kind of my husband's girl. She. I have 2 girl cats. Not that they really care, but she was like, I'm not going to bed until Nathan comes home. Like, so she was pretty restless. And then when he did come home, she was yelling at him. But yeah, so Clover, my point is that Clover was like, I can go to bed because Jessica's here and whatever, Nathan's not here, that's fine. Whereas Evie was just like, well, Nathan's not here. So like, what's up with that? Plus, I had left a light on for when he came home, but so she was probably wondering why that light was on if she was supposed to go sleep. So, yeah, both cats, we both get along really well with each of them, but it is kind of nice to have like his and hers cats. Like one sort of technically has more of a close relationship with one of us, and the other has the other one. I don't know. I think it's kind of cute. I am going to put deco along the bottom washi as well as the weekend banner because I had that plain bottom washi and I didn't use foil with this kit. I love this paw print pattern. It is so cute. And the little like tabby kittens in this very much remind me of when we got Clover because even though she's a calico, she's also a tabby. And she was just a little baby. They're so small for such a short amount of time. So I wish we could have held on to that longer, but also she is she's not that big, but supposedly she weighs like 10 pounds. I don't know if that's small or big for a cat. She's very dense. Like you pick her up and you're like, this is a heavy cat. This cat is heavier than I thought she was going to be. But yeah, she's quote unquote big and strong at this point, which is good because she's had quite the journey through life. We didn't do anything particularly special for her adopt-iversary. I feel like we kind of default to their birthdays more than anything, but I was pretty impressed this year that the cats were very calm about fireworks because, of course, the 4th of July happened this week, and at least in our neighborhood, no one like right next to us does fireworks, although I think our next door neighbors used the Safe and Sane fireworks in the street, which was a little annoying. At least, like, so I live in the city, so like the Safe and Sane fireworks are allowed in our city. But there's definitely people who do the totally illegal fireworks here as well. But our next door neighbors were not doing those, thank goodness. But they're still so noisy. But yeah, I was really impressed. Both cats were very calm this year. And I think part of it was that I just kind of committed to being calm. And then also I gave them churro to reward them and reinforce the calmness. So anyway, now that I've rambled on for 6 minutes about my cats, we can get into the day by day. As always, the habit tracker in the sidebar is for flossing, and the weekly checklist is for dinners. For our dinners this week, we did take a little bit of inspiration from like which World Cup matches were on. So like, for example, on Sunday, Mexico played England, and my husband's Mexican, and also I have like 50% of my friends are Mexican, so like we made tacos to watch that game. We also made, my husband, I should say, made brisket on Friday because we had some people over for like a long weekend celebration barbecue. People brought like homemade mac and cheese, people brought potato salad. It was a great time. So lots of good eats this week. As far as Monday goes, the first thing I marked was my husband working from home. I think he just didn't have any like in-person meetings or like any outreach to do. So I thought this sunglasses emoticon would be fun for that. I haven't mentioned this lately, but if there's a sticker that I don't mention where it's from, it's because you like probably can't buy it anymore. So I'm only going to mention stickers that you can actually still purchase. So I had an appointment this day and it went well. And then, oops, I just knocked the microphone. I'm so sorry. After that, I went and got a Happy Meal, and they were still doing the FIFA World Cup Happy Meals. And I was so amused and excited because I finally got Cam the cat, because it was Squishmallows were the toys. And like I have wanted the mascot Squishmallow, which is a calico cat, for the longest time. And so I got it for the FIFA World Cup Happy Meal. And then the other funny thing about that is because like obviously my brand is Calico Cats. By the way, I did not intend to get 2 Calico Cats. It just kind of happened that way, that those were the cats available that like stood out to me when I went to adopt each of my 2 cats. So yeah, but now like Calico is like our family brand, I feel. So yeah, obviously I wanted the Calico Cat, but then also Cam the cat, Squishmallow for the Happy Meals, is wearing like a green and red jersey, and like at this point we were very much rooting for Mexico because they had not lost a game yet. So I thought that was funny. I'm like, it's Calico, and then we're gonna pretend that the little jersey is for Mexico. Also on Monday, I was working on some photo pages, catching up on those in my planner because I do a photo page for each of the months of the year, at least this year. We're halfway through the year at this point. And then I watched one of Trevor Noah's watch parties. I can't remember if I watched it live or after the broadcast, but whatever. And then watched 10-Minute Power Hour. Tuesday, I marked a concert countdown. That emo sticker is from Corks and Corgs Co. And then I played with Evie. That cat sticker is from Bunny Bear Plans. Then I did yoga and I filmed my July lineup and monthly plan with me. And then watched another Trevor Noah watch party for the World Cup on YouTube. If I didn't say all of that before, if I didn't explain what the Trevor Noah watch party was before, that's what it was for. They watched a World Cup game, not all of the World Cup games because that would be like impossible, but they picked probably around like 30 matches. And then like towards the end of the tournament, it turned into they're just watching whatever game was on that day. Anyway, I read White Teeth, and then at this point, I didn't have a Peacock subscription, so a Telemundo subscription, so I was just watching World Cup highlights on YouTube because Fox was honestly uploading the best parts of the games in like 20-minute increments to YouTube, so I didn't feel the need to have a subscription up until Thursday when Croatia was playing Portugal. That game I wanted to see in its entirety. And then on Wednesday was Clover's adopt-iversary, so I marked that, her 3rd adopt-iversary. Then I did the budget, which was fun for July because I don't get a regular paycheck, but it's fine. And then I did more yoga, and then I studied more Croatian language via a YouTube channel because that's what I've been up to this summer. And then I read more White Teeth and was working on my needlepoint project. And then was watching more World Cup highlights from the day, last week tonight, and Trevor Noah's YouTube channel. Thursday, I did a job application because that's something I keep up with during the summer when I'm off work. This was the day I wanted to get the house in order because we were going to have people over on Friday. So I cleaned up the kitchen and the bathroom. And then we have large trees in our neighborhood, and it's just been really windy a lot, even in the summer here. So there's debris everywhere. So I swept the front porch and the back patio. We also have a lot more spiders this year, which I don't mind, but the cobwebs are everywhere. But I don't mind it because there's also more mosquitoes this year. So I'm like, can the spiders please eat the mosquitoes? Keep up with that. So I don't mind the spiders as long as they're eating other stuff that I don't want biting me. Anyway. And then in the afternoon, Trevor Noah was live streaming for the Croatia-Portugal game. So I ended up getting a Walmart Plus free trial for like $1. And then that gave me access to Peacock, which gave me access to Telemundo. So that's how I watched the games moving forward. And unfortunately, Croatia lost to Portugal. And it was kind of a bummer of a game, especially because I forget what the calls were. A lot of people were talking about how Croatia was robbed. And I'm like, I'm inclined to agree with you because Croatia is my team. But I can't remember the technicalities of it. So if you do, what did you think? Like if you follow soccer, if you've been following the World Cup, what did you think of that match? And then I was also working on my needlepoint project this night. Basically, I've been using the needlepoint project as a way to not scroll on my phone while I'm watching television, which I tend to do. It's a bad habit. Friday, I marked that my husband had the day off because it was the day before Independence Day. I finished reading White Teeth, and then I opened up the windows this day because it was actually really nice weather for 4th of July. It was nice and cool in the morning. Obviously a little warmer in the afternoons, but like it wasn't that hot, at least not for us. And this was during the time where I think the East Coast and Europe was like burning to death. So sorry if you were in the middle of that. I enjoyed our weather, although it's gotten quite hot in the weeks since then. And then I didn't really want to buy or wait for soccer stickers or try and make my own. I just wanted to like get these spreads done. So to mark different World Cup matches I was watching this week, I just used emoticon stickers. So this day, Australia played Egypt, and I was rooting for Australia purely because I think they have the best soccer team nickname, the Socceroos. I think that's so funny, but they lost to Egypt. And then this was the day that Cabo Verde played Argentina, and I know that was a very contested or discussed game among fans. So not the best day of football, depending on who you were rooting for. Then we hosted our barbecue. We just had like 4 people over, 2 couples, and we enjoyed a whole lot of brisket and other good food. And then we played cornhole. Those sandals are from Carly Plans. We played cornhole because our neighbors / friends have a cornhole set that they bought for their wedding, and so they wanted to use it. So that was kind of fun. It was quite hot in the afternoon. Then I did literally all the dishes because we don't really have to run our dishwasher every day. Like it's kind of like once every 2 to 3 days because it's just the 2 of us, my husband and I. But this day, like every dish in the house needed washing. So I just cleaned up right away. And then I started watching The Paper on Peacock, which is a spinoff of The Office. I don't think it needs to be a spinoff of The Office. It's like kind of shoehorned in there. I watched the whole first season. Personally, I didn't think it was that good. I think, what's his name? Donald Gleason. I think his talents are better used elsewhere. I think he's holding the whole show together. I like him and the other like main character, like his kind of female counterpart. And I like this one other character. I think her name's like Adelola. But like there's just too many villains in the show. And like, so the premise is that it's a newspaper that he's trying to like save. But there's just too many like bad guys and like also way too much talking to the camera. And I don't understand why it has to be a spin-off of The Office, because it feels like it's just like I said, just shoehorned in there. So I don't know. I watched it. I'm not going to make it a priority to watch the next season whenever it comes out. It's okay. But I thought I would check it out because I did used to work at a newspaper that is going through a lot of the same stuff, because we're not going to get into all of that right now. Anyway, moving on to Saturday, it was American Independence Day, so I marked that with a script from Magical Sticker Co. I went on a walk with my husband, and actually one of our favorite bakeries was open, which I was surprised about, but also they normally close in the afternoons on Saturdays anyway, and like Saturday's obviously one of their busiest days, so I guess it made sense. So I ended up getting like a black sesame pastry for breakfast. That was nice. And then this was the day Canada played Morocco and France played Paraguay. And so I marked that with this kind of like shocked emoticon, because especially the Paraguay players, I was like, what is this game right now? I thought I understood soccer, but apparently you can just like body check people and it's fine, question mark? I don't know. I don't like that aspect of men's soccer, quite frankly. But yeah, those matches were kind of weird to watch for me. I wasn't really rooting for anybody in either of those games. Then I filmed a plan with me, listened to 2 podcasts, and then in the evening we decided to watch more episodes of the 2nd season of Interview with the Vampire. We have to take it slow because, like, honestly, between the gore and the psychological horror of it, like, you kind of have to pace yourself. Plus, there's like a lot of points to the storyline. It's a very interesting storyline, but there is a lot to take in. So we're watching some episodes of that, and then, like I said, I gave the cats churro treats to reward them for being calm. I was super impressed with them. They were delightful this year as far as keeping their cool with all the fireworks. Sunday, I marked again trying to play soccer, quote unquote, with the cats. I had a bunch of like life admin stuff to take care of this day, and then watched the Norway-Brazil game where Norway beat Brazil, and I thought it would be funny to use this like kayak rowing sticker to mark Norway's success. I was very excited this day. And then I was doing stuff with our wedding photo album, and then unfortunately Mexico did lose to England this day, and so that brought their World Cup success to an end, sadly. A lot of people I knew were very sad about that, of course. And then I was just kind of anxious at the end of Sunday because one of the things we had booked as like a life admin task this day was stuff to do with hopefully purchasing a home in the next year or so. So I kind of got stressed by that, because that is how I am. So anyway, that is everything for this week. This is going to be my last plan with me for a little bit, but I'm delaying when I post these, so you're probably not going to notice. But I'm not going to film the rest of July. I will come back with a recap when I'm done with those spreads, and then we will jump into August. So hope that's okay. I just needed a little bit of a mental break from the hustle and bustle of filming every single week in my planner. But I hope you are doing well. I will talk to you next time.